Welcome to today's episode. We're going to take a quick look at the power of memory, the complexity of grief, and how our past shapes who we are today. I'm joined by someone who has a truly poetic take on the way our minds become both gardens and battlegrounds. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive into these themes. So much of what we experience really does stem from the way we process our memories and move through loss and change.
You start your chapter with an image that's so familiar. Mornings at the table, getting ready, giving yourself a pep talk just to get moving. There's the rush, the sense of falling behind, and already that division in your mind, the river running through your thoughts. Can you tell us more about how that river metaphor shapes your understanding of yourself?
Absolutely. The river in my mind really separates the joyful, vibrant parts of my memories from those darker, more painful experiences. On one side, there's lushness, laughter, the music of childhood, moments where love and hope felt alive in a very real way. On the other, there's the pain, regret, doubts that come with growing up and facing loss.
Those early joyful memories really stand out in your story. There's romance, friendships, summer nights by the river. It almost feels nostalgic and bittersweet as you describe how you and your friends fell in and out of love and how those memories became a refuge for you during harder times.
That's exactly it. Our childhoods, whatever shape they take, really become the foundation for how we seek joy later in life. For me, those memories aren't just about people or places, but about times when I felt completely myself. Before life started placing expectations on me, before grief entered the picture. Remembering those moments has been a way to fight off the darkness when things feel overwhelming.
Speaking of grief, there's a transition in your story where you reflect on the loss of a close friend, John. You ask yourself if he knew how much you cared and what his life might have been like. It's a really vulnerable part of the chapter. How has grief impacted your memories and your sense of joy?
Grief is transformative, sometimes in ways we don't realize until much later. When I lost John, it felt like a flood, sudden, sweeping away so many of those happy memories or reframing them through pain. I questioned myself, my choices, and whether I could have helped. But also, every time I think of him, it reminds me to hold tight to joy, to cherish the present, and to forgive myself for the things I can't change. It's a delicate balance, allowing grief to teach you without letting it steal your future happiness.
There's a really honest look at the ways we sometimes let fear or pain overtake our mental gardens. You talk about the storms in your mind, how neglecting self-care can make joy feel further away. How do you keep yourself from getting lost in that darkness?
Sometimes I think it's about recognizing what's happening, naming those fears, seeing where they're coming from, and then making the small decision to reach for connection. Whether it's spending time with my son, cooking with my mum, or just taking a walk outside, those moments are lifelines. I also try to remind myself that joy isn't a reward. It's something that lives inside the everyday moments. When I focus on service, on laughter, it starts to bloom again, even if just a little.
I love that you bring up the role of the body in all this, the way we carry memories and stress physically. There's this idea that our bodies tell the story of our lives, with scars, weary eyes, even the way our hair or skin changes. How do you make peace with those physical reminders of your journey?
Our bodies do carry our stories, don't they? For me, making peace has meant gratitude, seeing my scars as evidence of survival, of love, of living fully. The world tells us to go faster, do more, but I've learned the necessity of rest. Slowing down, listening to my body, giving myself permission to recover. These are all acts of love. Sometimes it takes hitting the brakes, or even a breakdown, to realize you can't pour from an empty cup.
You describe sleep as both escape and healing, especially when you were growing up. But as responsibilities grow, it's no longer an option to just sleep through pain. How have you learned to balance caring for yourself and showing up for your family?
I had to realize that my goals, my family, everything I value needs me present and whole. Sleep and rest are still essential, but now recovery means asking for help, choosing moments of joy, and dropping what isn't serving me. It's sometimes saying no to the grind and yes to a few minutes watching my son or laughing at myself in a mirror. There's guilt, sure, but there's also the understanding that my well-being benefits everyone I love.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch on your reflections about attention. The way social media and nostalgia can make us chase validation or get lost in old versions of ourselves. What's your relationship with that now?
For a long time, I confused attention with self-worth. Posting photos, accepting compliments, reliving the glory days. It was a way to feel seen. Now, it's more about finding peace in who I am, without needing that constant feedback. Those memories are still there, but I want to grow new ones. Ones grounded in authenticity and presence, not just for show.
That's such a powerful message. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. The struggles, the healing, and the reminder that joy and pain will always coexist, like both sides of a river. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think just this. Be gentle with yourself. Life will always carry both storms and sunshine. Tend to your garden, even when it feels overgrown with weeds. And don't be afraid to slow down and just breathe. You deserve it.
Beautifully said. Thanks again for joining us, and thanks to everyone listening. We'll see you next time as we continue exploring the stories that shape our hearts and minds.